What if the secret to getting more done is to stop doing anything at all? In this video, I'll show you why boredom matters and why mastering the art of doing nothing and allowing yourself to feel bored the right way might be the most powerful self-improvement tool you've never used. Because your instinct is absolutely right. It's time for change, and I'm here to help you in that process. So welcome to Changilla. Have you ever rewatched an old movie you used to love or reread one of your favorite books growing up? If you haven't, I encourage you to give it a try because you'll likely realize, to your surprise, that you'll find it unbearably boring. The thing is, that movie or that book has not changed. Your attention span has, and the main culprit is in your pocket. I used to think that I had a healthy relationship with my phone. But then I started noticing how I was reaching for my phone while watching TV, and how I couldn't wait by my kid's school door without checking the news for the third time already, and how if, God forbid, I ever found myself without network and Wi-Fi, I would launch that stupid mobile game I bought in 2019, because if I didn't do something, I might just go crazy. And at first, I thought my phone was freeing me from the burden of boredom. But man, was I wrong. Because that moment when you cannot tolerate stillness or silence, it's not boredom, it's withdrawal. We've trained our brains on a diet of constant pings and swipes to the point where every tiny pause feels unbearable. We're hooked on a stimulation. We crave a life that plays like a Mr. Beast video. We're stuck in a doom loop. Unfortunately, the cost of that is huge. Our brains have forgotten how to rest, and in the process, we've lost focus, creativity, productivity, and peace. Luckily, it's not too late. You can break the doom loop, and the first step to freedom is to understand why we have this problem. Let's talk dopamine. If you've checked your phone in the last 10 minutes, you're probably addicted, but you're not alone. About a year ago, as part of my journey to improve my life, I started tracking my screen time, and what I saw shocked me to my core. On average, I was receiving more than 200 notifications and checking my phone more than 100 times every single day. No wonder my productivity was so low. The thing is, those crazy numbers kind of make sense. At any given moment, a million companies compete for your attention. Your brain is their battleground, and their weapon of choice is dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical that over millions of years evolved to help animals feel motivation and desire through the anticipation of a reward. So every ping, like, or scroll, every time you get slightly bored and open your phone, your brain is getting a dopamine hit, and it feels good. For about 10 seconds. The problem is that gradually your tolerance rises, and soon you need more stimulation just to feel normal. That's why you keep checking even when nothing new is there. By then, you're trapped in a doom loop. The more you distract yourself, the less you can tolerate stillness. The less you can tolerate stillness, the harder it becomes to focus, to create, and to find meaning. And the harder it is to do all that, the more anxious and empty you feel, and the more you need that distraction hit. The solution is a dopamine detox. But before I get to that, we cannot forget the silent victim of your dopamine addiction: your brain's rest. Have you ever woken up tired and wondered why, or felt exhausted after a day of not doing much? If that's the case, you're likely suffering from attention fatigue, and boredom is its antidote. I was once in your shoes. On my quest to a more productive day, I made a rookie mistake. I tried filling every empty moment of my day with stuff. Podcasts in the shower, news while cooking, emails while walking. I thought I was being productive, efficient, and that soon I'd be reaping the benefits of maximizing my time with multitasking. But in reality, I was draining my brain's juice dry. Because our brains are built for rhythms, focus and rest, input and reflection. So when we turn every pause into stimulation or productivity, we're preventing our brain to switch modes, and that's how we end up with attention fatigue, a mental exhaustion that no amount of caffeine can fix. Ironically, once I started studying insanely productive people, I discovered that most of them are not working non-stop. They've simply learned to be comfortable doing nothing for short periods of time. They allow their minds to wander, to get bored. Because those tiny pauses refill their focus tank, and then their brains are ready for another productivity burst. But a rested mind is just half of the picture. Because by embracing boredom, these highly productive people are tapping into a mechanism that most of us are actively sabotaging: our brain's default mode network. And that is the secret key to unlock all of boredom's potential. Here's the secret: the most powerful part of your brain only switches on when you stop trying to use it. It's called the default mode network, and it activates, you guessed it, when you're bored. It's sort of like your brain's built-in idea generator. It connects random thoughts into insights, it solves problems, stores memories and emotions, and even helps you make sense of your life. But here's the problem: we almost never turn it on anymore, because every time it tries to activate, we shut it down with a ping, a podcast, a message, a video, or a scroll. The solution then is easy. You have to allow yourself the space for your brain to be idle. You can start small. When I started leaving my phone in another room during breaks, I thought I'd lose productivity. Instead, I gained it. My best ideas started showing up in silence. My thoughts started organizing by themselves, and that boring time became my secret weapon for creative breakthroughs. Not only that, when I got back to work, I was re-energized, I knew what to do, and my productivity skyrocketed. It's worth taking a closer look into the 3 main ways boredom unlocks your productivity. Let's start with the most obvious first. Boredom turns you into a creative genius. Think your best ideas come when you're focused? Nope. They come when you're bored. We've already seen why. When your brain isn't bombarded with input, your brain's default mode network switches on and your subconscious finally gets to work, connecting dots, solving problems, and inventing ideas. Haven't you noticed that some of your best ideas happen when you're not even trying? On holidays, while taking a shower, mowing the lawn, or taking a walk? Well, that's your default mode network at work, a rather convenient system that solves your problems without even trying. Because to spark creativity, you don't need more information, you need more space. It's no wonder that many geniuses, Einstein, Beethoven, and Darwin included, schedule long idle walks on a daily basis. So why shouldn't you? And no, you don't need to be a genius to benefit from this. I mean, it even works for me. As I mentioned earlier, I first started trying to tap into this superpower by not taking my phone with me during breaks, but my best results have come since I decided to take it one step further and remove podcasts from my evening walk. At first, the thought of 40 minutes alone with my head was sort of intimidating, but it has changed both my work and my life. Every single night, I end up with a list of valuable ideas and insights to apply to the project I'm working on. It's a goldmine. It almost feels like cheating, because the moment I set foot on the street and start walking, the floodgates open and my creativity bursts forth. This YouTube channel, for example, wouldn't be what it is without my daily self-reflection walks. But that's not all. 40 minutes is a long time, and it allows myself to close my days on my own terms and with my own thoughts. As a result, my sleep has gotten better, my stress has all but disappeared, and my blood pressure has decreased to levels I didn't think possible. The consequence is easy to visualize. Every morning I wake up energized and ready to take on the world. And once you've trained your brain to be creative again, you'll notice something else. You'll become more present, and that will transform your relationships. Want to ruin a great conversation? Check your phone in the middle of it. I must confess, I've done it. I would be having dinner with friends, and every now and then, sadly, or so I thought, I would glance at my phone, just to check. Okay, yes, I was getting my dopamine fix. Then, one night a friend said, I know you're not doing this on purpose, but sometimes when I speak with you, it's like you don't care. Because you're here, but you're not here. That hit me. Something had to change. We've become so used to distraction that presence, complete presence, feels foreign, and any second of awkward silence, unbearable. So we are with people, but not with them. That's why so many relationships feel shallow. Our attention is split in half. Things get worse when we introduce our devices into our moments of family bonding time. Every moment the phone keeps our attention away from our loved ones is a moment gone forever, is a missed opportunity to nurture and protect our most precious driver of happiness. Even worse, when we do it in front of our kids, it sends a terrible message. Whatever is happening in our phone matters more than being present with them. But embracing boredom and the moments of quietness can even help us build bonds where none existed before, with total strangers. I had the opportunity to see that happen in front of my very eyes a few months ago. You might have seen it in the news. It was the day of the big power outage in Spain where the entire country lost power for 12 hours. The moment the phone and the internet network stopped working, people all over the country started doing something they hadn't probably done since they were little kids. They started gathering out on the square and the street, and with nothing better to do, they started talking to each other. Neighbors who had lived side by side for years without crossing a word discovered they shared common interests. New friend groups were formed, and the next day, once power returned and a major disaster had mostly been averted, a recurring comment could be heard everywhere. Seeing people come together was kind of nice. When you can sit through silence without needing distraction, you become more available to yourself, to others, to the moment. So try giving boredom a chance. Try device-free meals, slow conversations, or phone-free walks with loved ones. You'll feel connection deepen, you'll be happier, more satisfied, and that will reflect in your life and in your work. And once you let boredom back in, something amazing happens. Your mind starts asking the important questions that lead you to real purpose and meaning. We spend our lives running from silence, avoiding boredom, and filling every second with noise. But in doing that, we've killed something inside us, our capacity to reflect, to imagine, to be. Here's the paradox. We say we're searching for meaning, but we never stop long enough to hear the answer. Perhaps because we're afraid of it. Perhaps the restlessness we feel, that itch to distract ourselves every single second, is also a way to avoid listening to what our mind is trying to tell us. What if something is missing? What if I'm off track? There's a famous Harvard experiment where participants had to sit alone in a room for 15 minutes. No phone, no music, no books, just themselves and their thoughts. They were given two options: bear with it and wait it out, or press a button and receive an electric shock. And you guessed it, most people chose the shock. They literally preferred pain over facing their own thoughts. There's a tiny problem with that strategy though. Those thoughts are going nowhere. They're staying under the surface, you like it or not. And with time they fester. That's why depression, anxiety, and a sense of hollowness are exploding today. It happened to me. A few years ago, I had what many call a midlife crisis. Everything looked fine on the surface, but internally, I felt drained and hollow. I hadn't been truly alone with my thoughts in years, and I realized that I was going through life almost mechanically, moved by a force beyond my control. I reached a breaking point, and the moment I stopped distracting myself and gave myself the space and the time to think, uncomfortable questions started flooding in. What am I really doing? Why? Who am I doing it for? Is it worth it? It was hard and painful for 2 days. On the third day, my inner compass started recalibrating, and as I slowly started putting together a new framework of purpose and meaning, a new me and a better, more fulfilling life started to grow. Boredom is the bridge between distraction and direction. It can help you surface what matters, and if you're brave enough to sit through the awkward silence and confront the difficult questions, it can propel you forward in ways you didn't think possible. It's become clear that we need more boredom in our lives, so here's an action plan to help you make it happen. Here's the good news. Boredom is a skill and you can relearn it. You can break the doom loop and reclaim your freedom, and the first step is to retrain your brain. Start small with a dopamine detox. The next time you reach for your phone in a line or at a red light, stop. Notice the itch. That's your attention muscle begging for a workout, so train it. It's simple. Just look around and do nothing. Think of it as a micro rep for your brain. The more reps, the more your brain will rest and the stronger your focus will get. Then make your life easier. Delete social apps that drain your time, or at the very least turn off their notifications, and notice how calm it feels. It's not a privation, it's liberation. That's just a start though. Next, try a bigger challenge. commute with no music or podcast, go for a boredom walk without your phone, or to the gym without headphones. Let's be real though, the first few minutes will feel awful. You'll feel restless, even anxious, but it's totally normal. That's dopamine withdrawal. Your brain's begging for a quick hit of stimulation, but resist the urge. There's a new sheriff in town and he means business. It won't take long for the benefits to start kicking in, and that will motivate you to keep going. Once you master this level, it's time to set the rules of the game. A set of rules that work for you. Because let's face it, unless AI takes over the world and enslaves us all, your screens will keep being part of your day for the foreseeable future, so you will have to find the balance that works for you. I can't decide on your behalf, but I can share the 4 simple rules that have worked for me. First, no devices allowed 60 minutes before sleep time. It's called a digital sunset, and it's essential for your brain to unwind before bed. If you want to learn more on this, check my video on the 9 powerful habits to stop wasting your evenings after work. Second, no phones during meals. This was first imposed by my wife, and rightly so, by the way. Meals are sacred spaces for connection. When you put your phone away, conversations deepen and relationships flourish. You're more present, more human, and happier. Third, introduce short screen fasts during the day. I do device-free work breaks and then a 40-minute podcast-free evening walk. And I crave those times, so trust me, they work. And fourth and final, no sleeping near your phone. Your phone should be left charging in a different room, and do not disturb mode should be on. In conclusion, you don't need another app or to take a $300 productivity course. The only thing you need to harness your focus, unlock your creativity, strengthen yourself and your relationships, and boost your productivity to levels you've never seen before is a willingness to experiment and permission to give yourself space. Because boredom isn't wasting time, it's investing. Try it once and you'll see. Silence isn't empty, it's where the good stuff begins. So which of these strategies will you be implementing today? Tell me in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon here, as always, in Chinchilla.